Today. Thank you. Now going over to the political part podcast, you have Vivek on the EU considering sanctions against Tucker Carlson for interviewing Vladimir Putin. Now this comes to us thanks to Vivek's personal ex-Twitter profile. Statistics were all taken down about 24 hours after it was posted. Granted, it did happen last week. Now, Vivek says, quote, "The European Union is considering sanctions against Tucker for interviewing Putin, but think about it. There's no way the EU would ever dare do that to a prominent U.S. figure without implicit blessings from their counterparts in the U.S. government," unquote. And again, they got 1.6 million views and 46,000 likes. And of course, many people are calling Tucker Carlson the GOAT, or also known as the greatest of all time, for actually interviewing everyone and giving us the interview that we've been basically not allowed to see. Can't help but see the different contrasts. You also have, Mr. Zelensky. He's had probably more interviews than Oprah, going around the U.S. in his sweater, taking $200 billion from the U.S. taxpayers, between cash as well as resources that we give them from military hardware to also, aid and other physical stuff to help them. $200 billion is enough. We need to give them even more, is what I'm told. And he keeps playing, oh yeah, I'm all innocent. Although, if you look at the historicals of Ukraine and who's in their army, you're going to see a lot of SSs. Interesting enough, they were not on the right side of history in World War II, and there are a lot of those folks still around. They're called Nazis. Not the pejorative thing that the U.S. saw, everyone is a Nazi in the U.S. by the media standards, but the real ones are in Ukraine. I'm not saying all of them are there. I'm just saying they have actual armies, and we've seen them on social media. And yet, that's the side the U.S. chooses to support. Now, go to the comments section. See here. Well, the first one comes from Andrew Tate. And he says, quote, "Yes, EU states, get explicit permission from the U.S. before they wreck a prominent U.S. citizen." They got 3.2 thousand likes. And Vivek says, quote, "The government often uses its dirty work through the back door." Or, again, I can't help but think my speaking ineptitudes, they have increased. Not by a lot, perhaps. Or actually, they've decreased. Pun moderately intended, hopefully. But I can't help but notice, when I first started the show, my speaking was much, much worse. I stumbled over my words or speak even faster than I do now. But as we have more and more people click that subscribe button, my speaking has improved by a modicum, just a little bit. So if you click that button, I'd really appreciate it, and it'll fuel my theory, perhaps, that it is also helping the channel improve in quality. Now, Vivek responded, saying, quote, "The U.S. government often does its dirty work through the back door. Just look at the relationship with tech companies over the past 5 years," unquote, getting 2.1 thousand likes. The redheaded libertarian said, quote, "Red coat behavior," getting 393 likes. Our favorite contrarian, well, not really a favorite, but I do follow him so we can get some different perspectives. So usually in these instances, most of the top results when it comes to the comments usually will agree with the original person posting. Luke is a far leftist, or some might call him an extreme leftist, and I follow him so you could see his post at the top. So he responded saying, quote, "MAGAs are always the victim and hero in everything. Even in their own insurrection, gaslighting 101 is essential to the hustle that they cloak themselves in fake victimhood and act like everyone else is the aggressor and they're just fighting back, and inverts the power structure," unquote. Is he insinuating that the tech companies didn't do mass censorship in the past 36 months plus? I mean, we've had leaked documents that confirm that. It's not a theory anymore. It happened. But, again, 41 people did agree with that statement. Now, J.D. Sharp said, quote, "He's about to expose Ukraine as a cesspool of corruption and depravity," unquote, getting 439 likes. And, yes, historically, fascinatingly enough, even CNN, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, even they were calling Ukraine one of the most corrupt countries on the planet prior to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. And I guess maybe we just forgot about that as we've given them all this stuff with zero accountability. Even though, as recently as a couple weeks ago, we've been seeing more and more leaks of money just disappearing and being improperly allocated and stolen. And as we go down more comments here, you have Brittany Ray saying, quote, "What about Newsom for meeting Xi?" unquote, getting 262 likes. Joey Mariano says, quote, "I wouldn't be surprised if Biden asked them to do it himself," getting 274 likes. Richard Tibbetts says, quote, "Ukraine is the country that imprisoned and killed an American journalist, R.I.P. Gonzalo Lira," unquote, getting 156 likes. And they also outlawed, the opposing political party, they outlawed in Ukraine. under Zelensky's leadership. They also got rid of churches. Interesting. Uncommon Sense says, quote, according to the Biden administration, it's okay for the Ukraine to kill an American journalist, but it's not okay for an American journalist to interview the Russian president. Think about that for a minute. Who really wants to stop the war versus continue, unquote, getting 464 likes. Let's see here. Mike Beach says, quote, our mainstream media, and it's a picture compilation of other prominent U.S. politicians as well as journalists interviewing Vladimir Putin, and it says journalism, and then a picture of Tucker and Vladimir, and again it says treason, which, again, the hypocrisy is always there. Deb says, quote, very concerning that our own country has come to the point where a journalist is threatened for doing their job, unquote, getting 79 likes. Susie says, quote, I remember when Barbara Walters interviewed Fidel Castro, I'm quite certain she wasn't threatened by sanctions, unquote, getting 72 likes. So it'll be interesting to see, as the interview, I'm sure, is to break the internet, what are the long-term ramifications, what do we find out from it, and will other countries block Tucker from entering their premises? What is this going to mean for journalism? Let me know in the comments, do you think it's going to help our country unite, or, help people become reignited in fascination with the seeking of truth? Or will people just become more politically bifurcated and only stick to only consuming, one or two of the media outlets? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you again, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of February, so if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, and sharing it is also a great way to not only give me additional feedback, but also help with the magical YouTube algorithm and help it get shared more and more. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.